Okay, so we're going to take our pillar of responsibility and authority and let's blow it up. Let's take a look now at what some of the ins and outs of it. Responsibility. The important thing to remember about leadership is that responsibility is absolute. If you're in charge of a group, whether it be a group of 10,000 sales representatives in a corporation, 3 people in a sales team, or just yourself, and that's important to keep in mind too, self-leadership. You are responsible for everything that that team does or fails to do. Now, here's the catch. You have a team. You have a bunch of people that have to do a bunch of stuff. They have to do things because you can't do it all yourself. If you could do it all yourself, you wouldn't have a team. We wouldn't pay them that salary. So if you're the sales manager of a team, you're not making any sales, but you are responsible for everything that your team does or fails to do. If they don't make quota, guess who's responsible? If they do make quota, guess who's responsible? So again, it's result-based. Responsibility is completely result-based. And it's simply defined as the commitment to accomplish the mission while ensuring the welfare and development of the team. Now, this is something you might hear a little bit differently from other coaches. Remember the pyramid I showed you at the beginning? The ineffective manager. The ineffective manager doesn't get the job done. The ineffective leader doesn't accomplish the mission. And as a result, they're not there very long. They're a baseball coach that doesn't win. They're a coach of a team that doesn't win enough. And eventually, they're gone. The effective leader accomplishes the mission. That's what they're there for. But that next level of leadership, that inspirational level of leadership, not only accomplishes the mission, but they do it while ensuring the welfare and the development of the team. It's the team that gets it done. As a leader, if you're not focusing on mission accomplishment and the welfare of the team, you're missing 50% of your job. That's responsibility, okay? Any questions on that? Any opposition? And as I like to say, any bitches, gripes, or moans? Anybody in conflict with that concept? What's really critical here is looking at the second part of that definition, the welfare and development of your team, because that's what's going to make you remembered 20 to 30 years in the future, because you're going to be developing people. And maybe you're going to be developing them so significantly that they're going to go on to another job, to a higher position of responsibility. That's a good thing. Okay. Now that means you got to train somebody to replace them, but that's okay because everybody else sees you taking that kind of interest, and that's what makes you inspirational. So let's take a look at an example of this. Again, I'll give you examples. You may have a problem with me from a standpoint of politics or whatever it is. I don't care. We're not dealing with that stuff. But I want to give you an example of what took place recently. With responsibility, there are 2 principles you need to keep in mind. The first one is deny and deflect. Deny and deflect. If you're a leader, you have to know how to deny and deflect. Just recently, New York was a disaster. It still is. There's an outfit called Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse helps out people in need, okay? Hurricanes, disasters, that sort of thing, run by Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son. Samaritan's Purse went to New York City and they put up a hospital in Central Park. The hospital was underutilized. That's a whole nother reason. But the point being is that Franklin Graham's program is really an incredible program. And he goes up to Central Park and puts up this hospital. The result was President Trump appreciated his efforts. I don't care if you're a Trump fan or not. He's the president. And he said, you know, Franklin Graham really did a tremendous job in Samaritan's Purse getting this thing set up in Central Park in a short period of time and provided more capacity for our COVID-19 patients. What did Franklin Graham do? He denied the credit, and then he deflected it. This headline from a Fox News flash on April 11th said, Reverend Franklin Graham says praise from President Trump. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, but don't talk to me. Talk to the guys that were out here at 3 a.m. putting this thing up, that came up here and worked 24/7 so this hospital. It's not me that did it. It's those people that did it. And so part of your responsibility as a leader is you're going to get 2 kinds of feedback. It's going to be positive or it's going to be negative. If it's positive feedback, you shuck it right off your shoulders and you give it to the people that actually got it done, because that's in reality. Liz, you're a sales manager. How much are you selling this year personally?
Personally, I
Personally,
don't sell anything.
you don't sell a dang thing, right?
No.
It's
If
the
my
stars.
people aren't selling, I'm losing.
There you go. So, but you're responsible for how much that team sells, right?
Yes.
I mean, you got to answer to your boss, but it's Van and it's Kim and it's Zach and it's people like that that are going to be getting it done for you. When you stand up on the stage at the end of the year, and I know you do this, that credit goes to those people because you know they got it done. Seems simple. I'm going to tell you a story. I've got a daughter who is a cheerleader. I'm a cheer dad. It's a cross I have to bear, but she was a cheerleader, and in the process of living in Colorado, she was in the state cheer championships. They were back-to-back cheer state champions, but while we were there, we were watching another division compete. We got down to the final awards, and now that you've got 2 awards to present, second place and the state champion. And so they present the second place, and that means that the state champions are next. They get announced. Well, the girls go crazy. These are high school. You can imagine. They're just going, the screaming and the hugging and the whole 9 yards, to the point that the MC has to say, ladies, could someone please come out and pick up this trophy so we can move on with the program? Well, finally, they go tromping out there and they get their trophy. Now the team has the trophy. The captains are holding it. The team is passing it around for all of about 20 seconds. Because the next thing you see is the adult coach, who is an incredible coach. She puts teams winning the state championships every year. Next thing you know is the coach has the trophy. Not the girls, but the coach. And she's got it up above her head, and she's running around the Coliseum floor with the trophy. The coach has the trophy. The girls are following behind, but the coach says, look what I did. You can understand what image that gave to the people sitting in the Coliseum. If half that feedback is positive, let's talk about what happens when the feedback is negative. Here's a reality. As a leader, they don't give you a red cape with a big yellow S on it. You are going to have failures. I just read a book I'm reading a book by General James Mattis at this point in time. And being a Marine, I'm going to use a military analogy and just irritate everybody, but I like to do that. He's talking about Desert Storm when they're going into Kuwait to kick Saddam Hussein's troops out. He's taking his battalion's going forward, and they're doing a great job, and they're doing everything. And as they're cruising along, one of the company commanders on the right flank, and he's moving along, and they're taking care of the enemy. There's a rock quarry down there. Well, they kind of just bypassed the rock quarry. They didn't think much about it. It's a big hole in the ground. They got past the rock quarry about 500 meters, and all of a sudden they've got incoming artillery from their rear coming from the back. Where's that coming from? So they go turn around, and there was an Iraqi company with mortars and artillery down in that quarry that they totally missed. This is James Mattis. He was in charge. So as a leader, those sort of things are going to happen. This is when we take a different policy, with deny and deflect. We accept it. If we screw it up, we accept it. And then we adjust that behavior so it doesn't happen again. Let me give you an example. We all know about D-Day. Tremendous effort by American and British and Canadian forces in World War II on June 6th to begin the foothold to seize Europe back from Adolf Hitler. Well, we all know what a tremendous success it was. We've all seen Saving Private Ryan. Here's the interesting thing. Prior to D-Day, General Eisenhower had to be prepared for failure. And as a result, he wrote a letter. This was going to be published if we got pushed back into the sea and D-Day was a failure. Our landings in the Cherbourg Havre area have failed to gain a satisfactory foothold, and I have withdrawn the troops. My decision to attack at the time and place was based upon the best information available. The troops, the air, and the Navy did all that bravery and devotion to duty could do. If any blame or fault attaches to this attempt, it is mine alone. General Eisenhower didn't say, I got bad information. The weather was terrible. The troops didn't fight hard enough. The Navy was the typical Navy. We didn't get there on time. He simply said, this guy wasn't ashore. but he was in charge of everything. He was responsible for the entire D-Day effort, and he was prepared to take the entire heat. This is a letter that he wrote and was prepared to release if D-Day had failed. Accept and adjust. Accept the blame. Yes, sir. Fully aware that it was total mission failure. It won't happen again. And then adjust. You make the changes with your team. That's what responsibility is all about.